Okay, we've got a Zoom call with PT Dom Fam. I don't think Brian's going to be there. Should be happening right now. It's 12:29 p.m. And we're just going to go over the spreadsheet shit from yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing set up for myself. I just start taking notes. And spreadsheet. Okay, got it set up. That's it. Yeah, I just want to take notes and figure out what they want, what they need, and I guess be off to the races so I can make this and not have to redo anything. So I don't know who's going to be in the call, but I'm just waiting for them to start. I don't really know what we'll talk about other than that. Dude, some of these things, man, we don't need a Zoom call. Send a fucking PDF. Send it a text that says, we need this. Okay, here we go. We're about to start. I got about to get serious. Hold on. But send a goddamn message, bro, that just says, hey, we need this, this, and this. It needs to be able to do this, this, and this. End of story. Zoom call, unnecessary. I'm going to make a prediction. I guarantee you that we're going to talk for 30 minutes. And I will say at the very end, this could have absolutely been taken care of over a text. I'm making that bet right now. Anyway, so she should start it. Host has joined. We've let them know you're here. So, guess we'll see. There we go. What's going on?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. All right. So I think Anna and Bryson already know each other.
Yeah.
Meech helps me directly. So she works in the ops department, and she's going to be creating the process for the person that's going to be responsible for filling out the tracker. So that's why I invited her to our meeting.
Okay, perfect.
This is Michi, this is Bryson.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Bryson.
All right, perfect. Well, let's get right into it. So, Bryson, if you can share your screen and kind of just walk us through what you have built so far. I know I already gave you like a couple pointers yesterday, but I didn't want you to make any edits and then asking you to change something again after this meeting. So let's just go through it.
Okay. All right. So this is pretty much it. Let me zoom in here. You want me to just walk through it and how it works, or what do you want me to do exactly?
Yes. So overall, just so we're all on the same page, we're going to start tracking the kind of like the student progress / student activity from both of our mastermind programs on a weekly basis. And the things that we want to track, and this is what Brian requested, is track their Facebook group activity. So every week checking if they were active at all in the Facebook group, whether by a post or in comments. And the second aspect is tracking if during that week the client logged into the course portal. So based on those two things is how we're going to identify those clients who are staying active and those who are not.
Okay. I'm taking notes on another screen. You can't see it, but...
That's fine. Yeah, you're good. But yeah, now Michi is fully aware of the project as well. Anna, I think, also has a pretty good idea. And then yesterday, I fully updated you, Bryson.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. So how this works, as of before we kind of discussed what needed to be changed, is you just put the client name in the name spot, when they started, when they're going to renew, and then this is it just calculates how many days are left. There's a little notes section, just type in the notes, whatever, and so you can give them a rating. The stars don't matter; it can be whatever. They just correlate to a color, so it could be blank. It doesn't really matter, but just changes the color. I'm going to go over all this in a sec, but when you get the client stats in here, so nobody's a green star. Hold on. So you go to the client stats. Let me make this bigger. Hold on. And you can see that this student, this is like it just filters it. So if I zoom out, all the green star clients go here, all the yellow star, all the red star, but obviously there's only 3 people that are rated. So if I come over here, this shows how many days left each person has. So the people in this column, there's 14 days or left remaining in the program, and you can see it here. For this column, it's 30 days or less, 60 days or less, 90 days or less, 120, all the way up to a year. And then these are the people, there's probably an error right here, but these are all the people that have more than a year left. So I don't know how you track it necessarily, but I think more than a year is probably pretty rare. So
yeah.
So that's that. It just tracks and it says how many people are in each category. I think this sheet looks ugly, but it works. So that's how all that works. And this would be how you actually track it. So I think I'm on the other sheet. The other one has it updated, shows the full date, but this is how it works. So this date is going to be the first day that you start. So you just change that. Let's just say that it is today. You would just check off a box saying that they participated in the group or they were active on the course, whatever. So I think there will be 2 check boxes for one date. So for the group activity in the course portal, you would check this off and then that's it. They were active. Now, if you click this plus button, it'll show you the stats for them. So this green column, by the way, totally forgot to mention, that just indicates that that's today. So if I were to change today's date just by 1, it would go away. So just a little helpful visual. But when you check off a box, so we are on to this date. So today's May 22nd right here. If I check this box off, their name goes blue, just says that they were active or whatever the case may be. And you can see their stats. So if I click off this one, then it's going to say everything is 50%. So this is their percentage in the last week, 2 weeks, month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. You can call them quarters. And then this crown is the lifetime average. So every single checkbox, it just tallies it up. This green one is the amount of times that they that they did participate, or essentially the amount of checkboxes that are checked. This is
sorry.
No, you're good.
Question.
Yeah.
So for example, in that one, once we have 2 checkboxes, is it going to count now like every time they actually had both boxes checked off?
Yeah, I can make it so both have to be checked off for it to count. Or like if one or the other is checked off, then it wouldn't say anything. I can make both actually. So yeah, I can do both.
Okay.
And then we have the possibility, the amount of times that they could have checked in. So, or they could have, this is the old check-in sheet, but the amount of times that go away. The amount of times that, the amount of opportunities they've had. So this person has had 2. Everybody should have 2 because we're 2 weeks in. So that's how that works. And then this is the longest streak they have of being consistent with whatever. And this is their current streak of being consistent. So that'll be a tougher one to make the streak for both things, but I'm sure I can do it. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's it. So you just collapse this if you don't want to see it, and that's it. And then this is frozen. What's going on here? This is frozen, so all this stays here while you can move this around, so you can only see the clients. But that's it. That's it in a nutshell. So that's everything.
Okay. So then let me ask questions, okay? Just so I make sure I'm fully understanding.
Okay.
So for example, the color coding, is it going to change per week? So if 1 week they had both boxes checked off, it's in green. But if the next week, now let's say none of the boxes are checked off, it should be red. So is it going to be updated depending on the week?
Are you talking about these right here?
Yes.
So this is all manual. So you have to choose. So the way Brian explained it to me when he first sent me what he wanted, it was just like a rating. So like, are they a good client? Are they not a good client? Are they shitty client? So like that was manual. You go in there, you just choose. So this is based on what you feel the person or the student is.
That would only be Brian's call though. Like he's the only one that would say this is not a good client.
Yeah.
See, okay, so I know yesterday we briefly talked about this, and we are going to definitely work on making this better moving forward.
Yeah.
But usually, and this is just as a heads up to you as well, and Anna, so that you understand kind of how Brian's brain works, he might meet with you and give brain dump his idea, and then you start working on it. And then he might meet with me and talk about the same process, but now have a new set of ideas, for that same process. So that's why this like happened where you were already working on something and then he had told me that he wanted the color coding based on their activity, which is what we're going to track.
Yeah.
So now moving forward, anytime that Brian wants something done, ideally his first filter is Anna, and then Anna brings that information down to me because I know like all the information across clients and the company and like the processes. And then I can say, okay, I know what Brian wants now. Now I can get you all the actual data that you will need to build this. Now, that being said, this is the first like big project, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Already. So for the color coding, we do want it to be based on the client's activity. Now, I do think that we might not need all those little like tracking things that you also added, like the longest streak. What was the little fire and the 100 emojis?
That is the longest streak and then their current streak. And you just move it away if you don't want it. It's there. Just fun stats, I guess, but it's there.
So if it's too complex to add like that same information, but with 2 checkboxes, I think the last 2 we are good without. The first 2 I think can be very useful.
The first
So
2 of what?
The little green check emoji, and then the other one, which are
Okay.
how many weeks they've been active.
Yeah, this is the amount of times amount of opportunities they've had to do it, and this is how many times they've actually done it.
I think that one helps.
Okay.
Like that's not something that we had considered, but it still could be very helpful because then when we do reach out to someone saying, hey, like we've noticed that you haven't logged into the course 3 times out of 4 that you could have, then we can assess that client, right? So this gives us more helpful information. The other 2 in terms of the streaks, I don't think so. But again, if it's too complex to add, to keep that with the 2 checkboxes, we're good without them. If it's not complex and you want to leave it in there, it doesn't hurt. Like it's just extra, right?
Okay. Noted. Got it.
Yes. So I'll leave that decision up to you.
Okay.
So yeah, then the dates, definitely 2 checkboxes, and it's gonna be one person. His name is Marco. He's gonna be shown how to check course portal login and Facebook group activity, and he's gonna have to come in here every week and check every single client. So that's what I meant by how will the color coding work if we're gonna base it off the client's weekly activity.
We can do it percentage-wise, so I can actually base it off of these numbers or their lifetime. So if they're, for example, 66 or higher, they're green. If they're 33% or higher, they're yellow. If they're 32% or lower, it'd be red. I can do something like that.
Okay.
Whatever you...
Yeah. And that would count the accumulative of everything up until that week that he's checking?
Yeah, so if it's the 26th or something... They could... You guys still see my screen? Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
If it was up to the 26th or something, then it would only count every date up to that date, nothing more. Mm-hmm. But nothing before what is in this column here.
Right. Okay. I think that would be the game plan then.
Okay.
Because then once we have this data, like once this is running and now each week we can see, okay, this person hasn't logged in all week and they also haven't participated. Or even like this client, let's say Diana, has not logged into the course or had any Facebook group activity in the last 3 consecutive weeks. Then from there, I'm thinking Brian is going to come up with a game plan, either a script or a video to be sent to that person to try to get them to be active again. So... we do need to, I guess, be able to set how many dates or how much time, like the percentage that you were mentioning. For example, instead of weekly then, if the client has 2 consecutive weeks of not being active at all, then mark it in red. Something like that. So we need to come up with like, what are the rules going to be?
Okay, just as a visual or...
Yes, as a visual, because Brian's going to need to have that information.
So if it's back-to-back boxes that are not back-to-back weeks that aren't checked, it would go red just so that you can see. Is that what you're saying?
I would think so, yeah. And then
Okay.
I would say to get started, 2 weeks, 2 back-to-back weeks where someone's not active at all, to me is already like a red flag.
Okay.
Or it could be like a red flag.
Okay.
And then I guess that the second rule could be if they have been active at least once in those 2 weeks, whether through one or the other checkbox, but at least they did something in those 2 weeks, that one could be yellow. And then obviously green is if they are active in both, or in both weeks, we could say.
Okay. I'm trying to...
Green, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just trying to figure out how we could... There's just a lot of ifs, you know? Like if they do this, then this. If they do this, then this. If they do this, then...
Yeah, I know, exactly.
So one thing is for sure. So let's just start here. So one thing is for sure is if they do everything, they're green.
Yes, that's the easy one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if they do nothing but for 2 weeks, it's red?
I would say so, yeah.
Would nothing for 1 week be yellow?
Yeah.
Okay, nothing for 2 weeks is red. There's no way it's that simple. I feel like we just had like an aneurysm trying to figure that out. So green is everything. Red is 2 weeks or more. Yellow is just 1 week? Is that...
I think
Wait.
so.
You want to color code the checkboxes, right? And then have the actual color of the client's health be the percentage of everything?
Yeah, that could be helpful.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you can color code the entire like client's information.
Yeah, like you say, like this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can do that.
If we can do that, let's do that.
I think I can do it right now. Let's see.
Basically, I would say like a safe bet, and I can take responsibility for this if Brian doesn't like it, but I would say a safe bet would be trying to track a client's activity like within a month, right? Or not allowing it to get to a full month where they haven't been active without us doing anything about it. Because 1 month is like a lot. And especially because mostly these people are paying on a monthly basis. So that means they paid us yet didn't do anything. And so we need to do something about it.
Okay. So you want to see a monthly view? Is that what you're saying?
If you can, yes, just a view, like how you have this set up on a weekly basis is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
If you then like add another tab maybe for only the monthly view or like the monthly results. So like, for example, throughout April, what was the activity or what was the status of each client? For all of April, was Diana technically in red? For all of April, was she in yellow or was she in green?
Okay. I could do something where, so right now it's kind of divvied up by 4 weeks, which technically that's a month, but would that be cool if it's 4 weeks, that's 28 days? It wouldn't be like a full month, right? Because it's 30.
Yeah.
Or would you want it to be like May 1st to May 31st? Like the full month?
I think that's going to be more complicated, no?
Yeah, it will be, but I mean, I love this stuff, so whatever you need, yeah.
See, so most of the things that we check is always by calendar months, so from the first to whatever the last day of the month is. But this weekly thing is going to have to happen either on every Friday or every Monday. So, of course, that's not going to be within the calendar month.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you would track that.
I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I think we could absolutely do it. It would just... Okay, let's see. So essentially you just want a recap for each month for each student and make that stay the same and not update with more months. So like May goes by, they were 86% or they were active this much, like that's there. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not super necessary though, because it can be throughout the 4 weeks that you already have laid out here. That still works. And it's just like it's just for us to have like a simpler summary of the view of the student.
Okay, I'm sure I could figure that out. So like it would just show just the month. Some months would have 4, some would have 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm sure I could do that. Client. Okay. Just taking notes. That's on there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll probably reach out to you if I have any when I have questions, so I'm crystal clear on this.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yes. No worries. Like that's expected. This is an entirely new process, so questions are going to arise.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else? I'm gonna read you back my notes if that's cool. So we're crystal clear. Okay. I'll just do that real quick then. Actually, let me share my screen over here. How do I switch the screen?
I don't know if you can once it's already shared. If you do that again from 0, I think it's when it gives you the option.
Okay. Okay, we good? Can you see this PT Dom thing?
No, we're saying on Notion website.
Oh, oops, hold on. I clicked number 2. That's so weird. Okay, there you go. Can you see this?
Go.
So you want to track the Facebook group activity. You want to track the client logged into the portal. Mm-hmm. And then color coding should be based off of client activity, so instead of this being manual, this would highlight the whole row of... Mm-hmm. Let's figure that out real quick. So what percentage of their activity would you want to be that color or whatever color? Does that make sense what I'm asking? Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking for green, because I'm trying to also think about it in the 2 and 4 weeks. So in green, I don't think it should be like every single box is checked off. Like in 4 weeks, all of them were checked off, because that's also not super realistic.
Yeah.
But at least...
like greater than 80%, so that gives them like 1 week to not.
At least 2/3. Yeah, at least 2/3. So 75 or 80% and above. That's a green. That's a very good active client.
Okay.
Yellow, I guess, would be between 50 to 75 then, or 50 to 70.
Okay.
And red, anything below.
Okay.
Half. And this means throughout the entire month, were you active at least for half of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good metric.
Okay. Okay, cool. So keep the checkbox and keep the checkbox and little recycle thing, right? So these guys, these two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so put the note of the 100 and the fire emojis, up to you.
Okay. So got that.
First 2 are really helpful.
Okay, cool. And then if back-to-back boxes are not checked, they should be red for a visual. So in my head, real quick, it's going to look something like this. So like this is the date, and then we have boom, boom. Like in my head, that's what it would look like. Is that cool?
Yes, but for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks?
For 2 consecutive weeks.
Yeah, so it would just look like this. So, yeah, whatever. So it would just be like, this is week 1. This is week 2. This is the community. This is the course. So if it's like this, it'd be green. If it's like this, right. Still green?
I think so.
Okay. And then if it's this, maybe yellow?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if it's nothing, then that's when this would be red. So it would look something like, holy moly, something like this, like something.
Correct. Yes, because then that tells us throughout 2 consecutive weeks, the client has not done anything, And we want to mark it in red so that we take action before that becomes 3 consecutive weeks, 4 consecutive weeks.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so color code client health for all based on crown score. So the crown score would just be based off of this. So like whatever they are, this is what we just barely talked about actually. So these here, like these percentages, that's what this would be. We actually just talked about this twice, sorry. So this would be how we color code it. This would be the score that is this right here. So if they're above here, then their whole name would be green. And if they're between here, be yellow. Okay. Monthly status for each client. So
you can leave that as optional. Well, monthly, a calendar month would be optional. If not, at least the last 4 weeks, like a summary of the last 4 weeks.
Is a summary of the last 4 weeks more like that's for sure what you want? Summary of last 4 weeks is that a higher priority than getting a full day 1 to day 31?
Yeah, we can say so because I'm thinking when whoever is going to be reaching out to these clients, it's going to be easier for them to say during the last 4 weeks you haven't signed into anywhere instead of trying. If we're mid-month, they're not going to say like you haven't signed in since whatever. So yeah, we can prioritize the last 4 weeks actually. So you can forget about the calendar month thing. It's fine.
Okay, I'm just going to leave it here just as a reminder because maybe I can come up with something, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
honestly, if you come up with like the calendar month, that would be mostly for internal. Like, so when we have our leadership meetings, we can say during the entire month of May, we had X amount of people that didn't even log into the portal. So that's more for our internal stats. If we have the last 4 weeks of data, that's going to be more useful for client communication.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to figure that out with it being certain months have the 5 weeks, the 5, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's it. Just remove the fire and the 100. I'll try to keep them, but honestly, I think it's going to be really tough because that one was, I had to like Google so much to figure out how to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. The first 2, I think is a really good idea though, because that also is going to help.
Okay. Are all these things, never mind, I'm not even getting into that. I actually have a whole different thing that tracks daily. So like Sunday score, Monday score, but
no.
Truthfully, I'd rather not because that was tough. But
that's too much. We're only going to have this person go in, like I said, either every Friday or every Monday and go one by one, each student, and check both things, the course portal and the Facebook activity.
Okay. And then I'm assuming you'd want a little video that says how to do it because I've been doing that with everything that I make. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
But once it's finalized, because if we keep making edits, I don't want you to keep filming a 10-minute video.
Brian did actually have me do that, and I was like, dude, holy moly. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Once it's done, then we can film a video, and then we're gonna have Michi attach it to a whole SOP that we're gonna have for this person.
Okay. Is there anything else that would need to be here or not here? I'm like, I saw that the other one had their email. Do you want that? Because there's cool automation stuff that you can do. I mean, I could have it send an automatic email to them or to you guys with a report or whatever. Like every...
That would be nice. Let me think about the email. What could we use the email for? I mean, billing always needs the email. So... But we're not using this for billing.
Do you message them? Do you send an email or do you send them a message on social media?
When for this specific project, since it's like direct client communication, it's going to be social media for sure.
Okay.
We usually use email more so when it's like people trying to cancel, more billing related stuff. But for like client coaching, it's going to be in the DMs.
Okay. One thing that comes to mind is if you have I doubt you have this, maybe you do, but a list of their social media profiles, because you can integrate that with their name. So you could like click on Kevin right here and it would go to their profile and you just like, hey dude, what's up? You know,
we do have that.
Oh, do you? Because I could, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just one less thing you have to worry about. You just click on their name and then
just click and go straight to DMing
yeah. So
them.
like, oops.
I think that would be awesome because it's pretty hard to find their Facebook or their IG sometimes.
Yeah.
So if we can put their username there, it would be great.
Yeah, so I could, I just put Brian's in here, but I could just boom, boom, and then it's taking me right to their profile. And I could just message,
yes, we do have them. Let me see if we have them already on the sheet where I made a copy of the file for this. If not, we can still just gather them and download them. So active students. Yeah. We have that information. I just need to figure out where.
Okay.
But yes.
So the one that you have here, it's got their purchase or their phone number, their Facebook username, but.
Yeah, we always save both Facebook and Instagram, I believe, because we need their Facebook profile so we can accept their Facebook group request. And we usually have also their Instagram because that's where the sale happened. So we keep track of like their Instagram handle.
Okay.
So I'll check that and I can send that info over to you. Final question, I guess, for now, because we have to leave for another meeting, is how do we keep this sheet updated? Because people cancel, new people join. So this list needs to stay up to date. Is there a way to also do that with an automation?
One thing that you could do is integrate this whole thing with I'm not even sharing the screen. Wow. You could integrate this whole thing into this and then just hide all this. So that way it's all one thing. You could do that. So like just imagine this and then you just hide all of these, kind of like this little button here. And it's all there. That's an option. But if you don't want to combine the two, then I think you could actually put this whole file inside this one, but make it a little tab down here. And then use this as the master log. So if you come in here and delete a client, then it would... Actually, no, it wouldn't. I'm so sorry. Never mind.
It's okay. I'll leave that question to you so we can think about a way. If there is an option for ActiveCampaign to communicate with that sheet that you created, I think that would be a way for us to do it. Because every time a client joins, for example, they get added a certain ActiveCampaign tag. And every time we cancel a client, a different ActiveCampaign tag gets added. So if we can have these two communicate, maybe, at least for new clients, would be the priority. For cancellations, it's easier to keep track and have the team communicate with either you or the person that's, not you actually, you're just in charge of building this, but once it's built and running, it's going to be an entirely different person in charge of it. So then we can have that person just be responsible for updating it every time someone cancels.
Okay.
But if at least we can add new clients, I think that would be helpful. If not...
Add new clients from this... What do you mean add new clients exactly?
Add new clients from an ActiveCampaign tag.
What's an ActiveCampaign tag? What does that mean?
Oh, sorry. So ActiveCampaign is our CRM. And so whenever a client joins, we have certain tags that are added to their user profile. Okay. And those tags can trigger a bunch of different things that we want. So, for example, it might be possible, because we've done this before with other Google Sheets, where we do something in ActiveCampaign and we tell it, or we set it up to where if we add a specific tag, then do this. It's going to trigger this. So, for example, I'm thinking we could potentially test it where, let's say, if every time ActiveCampaign adds 10K Mastermind new client tag, that client's first name, last name, and email, just to say something, gets added to this sheet.
Is that the name of the software, ActiveCampaign, or do you use Go High Level? Okay.
We use Go High Level for a different set of things, but they share similar features. Yeah. But ActiveCampaign is mostly used for our email communication, internal and external. So for current clients and for leads.
Okay. Yeah, I think
also kind of connected to Go High Level, I think, but
Yeah, I think what you just said would work perfectly. Usually you can just integrate stuff. I mean, like there's Zapier and stuff like that. Do you guys use that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
I'm sure that would work too.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Perfect. Well, as you have questions.
Oh, I will. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Let me know in Slack so we just don't confuse Brian in the text thing. And then once we get it finalized on our end, then we can present it to Brian and see if he has like any other feedback. But from what I know he needs, this is how we would need it built.
Okay. Is there any hard deadline on this? I mean, I'm not going to drag my feet, but...
If you ask that to Brian, he's always going to say yesterday.
I've noticed that. He'll say, I'm looking for this. And I'm like, sweet. And I start working on it. And then some random day, he's like, I need it done today. And I'm like,
yes,
bro,
yes.
I don't know if that works this way. But
yes.
Yeah.
I would say like ideally mid-week next week. But again, like that can be my hopeful desire. But then you're the one who knows how long it's actually going to take.
Yeah.
So then you also tell me.
Well, I don't want to overpromise, but what you just said by mid next week, that seems very doable. So
Okay.
it seems very realistic, not like, tonight. So yeah.
Yeah. I know this implies a lot of work and a lot of formulas and stuff. So I don't expect it to be ready tonight. Let's leave it right now as Wednesday next week, and then we can go from there. So that would be the goal. But if you come across something or an issue or whatever, then just communicate and let me know.
Okay. Got it down. Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for all the explanations and the communication and everything.
Yeah. Always talk to me before getting to work on something.
Okay, I will from now on. You got it.
All right, it's all good. I'll also Anna, tell Brian as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. No worries.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Keep you posted.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Bryson. Bye,
See you later.
Anna. See you right now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fuck. All right, we're done. Dude, that's all I needed, bro. And matter of fact, you know what? My bad. I stand corrected. That should not have been a text because there was a lot of things that would have not been communicated properly. So lesson learned, my bad. I stand corrected. All good. Much needed Zoom call. I'll tell you what though, dude, I like when people ask those complex questions when they're like, hey, can we make it do this? And I'm like, huh. And it's cool because my brain starts firing. It's like, yeah, we can. No, it's not. It's probably not. Here's the thing. There's almost nothing that's impossible with Google Sheets. It's just a matter of figuring out how to connect the dots. It's like this is actually the perfect analogy. The best analogy I've ever thought of ever in my life. You can theoretically build a bridge from any point on Earth to the next point on Earth. It's just a matter of figuring out how the fuck you're going to build that kind of bridge. Because it's not impossible to build a bridge from here to fucking China. There's going to be a lot of support beams and it would be doable. However, it's just like, first of all, that's impractical. Fully understand. Not realistic. I get it. But it's doable. It's about figuring out how the fuck you're going to build everything from here to there. Because, I mean, shit, what's the longest point? It's like from the top of Alaska or something like that to the bottom of South America. You can drive that. Is that right? There's a little road that goes over the Panama Canal. Something like that. I don't know how the fuck that works. I don't know. Walking distance? Wait, I know you can walk. Maybe it's not a car. Whatever. Like you can walk from top of Alaska to the bottom of South America. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. If it's not, then I sound like a fucking idiot. But shit, if you can walk there, you can sure as shit build a bridge, Anyway, point stands. You just got to figure out how to connect the beams and the bridges and shit to get to that spot. Also loved the fact that she gave me a deadline. She said, hey, Wednesday next week. And truthfully speaking, I don't think it's going to take me that long. But you best bet your ass that I am going to do my best to be very thorough with this and to build the best thing that I can, because your boy also needs hours, but your boy also wants to make this some good ass shit. So anyway, that's all I got right now. I'm going to be back later because right now it's 1:08 p.m. I'm sure I'm going to record a little bit, maybe in a couple hours, but right now I just want to just hang the fuck out for a sec. So that's it for now. Yo, and I'm back. It is an hour and a half later, but I got to get going on some shit, and I don't want to have to do a podcast or record or do anything tonight because Lexi's coming over. She's got to go to the airport tomorrow, and so instead of Saturday night being our date night, it is now today because she's going to be gone for another 387 days, which sad. But so we're going to have date night tonight, and I just don't. Dude, never mind. Just got a family group chat text. Just, I had no idea. Anyway, so yeah, I want to hurry and get this show done, upload it so I don't have to worry about anything. And I'm going to talk about some stuff really quick. So after having been used, there we are. After having used Notion for so, I don't want to say for so long, but after having used Notion for the last week, making stuff for Mina and using ChatGPT to figure stuff out, and honestly not feeling guilty for trying to make something that I know isn't working for me. What I mean is doing anything on Notion would be some kind of silent procrastination technique in order for me to not make videos for fitness or to send DMs or whatever. But now it's like I have to use this. I need to use this, you know? So after having used Notion for the last week with ChatGPT and trying to figure things out, probably 20 hours worth, I can confidently say that this shit fucks. This is so cool. Now, in the past, I've used it, and I just wasn't patient enough, didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do, and it still doesn't. There's a lot of things that I'm like, dude, fuck this, you know? But I'm learning more about the pros of it rather than just the cons. What episode did I talk about Notion? One big test, pricing, green. When you search something in on Google, on the Apple voice memos, it searches transcripts too. I just want to find the titles, dude. Maybe if I can go to my podcast real quick. I just want to figure out what episodes I talk about Notion. Let's see. Notion. Yeah, episode 510. Notion, social media sucks. Okay. So anyway, I'm learning more about it, and you know, just to fast forward here, I actually have come up with a slightly more efficient way to do the podcast show notes and all that shit afterward, because I created a button. So what this fixes for me is right now I have a template. I just copy paste the template. I paste it a shit ton of times, so I'll go 10 times, and then I don't have to worry about it for 10 days. But the problem with that is when I get paid or when I get revenue, I have to update the income today and then update the total income in the description because I want to keep track of that. I think it's kind of cool. And I've counted all the money from Brian and from Mina and from my own ventures starting from December 20th, as you can see in the description. And even though it's not like my business revenue, my income or whatever from my business, my entrepreneurial journey, it is still money that I have gotten by pursuing something outside of a job, by essentially proving to other people I can provide a service and I can do it, but they got to pay me. So I almost feel like an employee, but I am a contractor. So Mina is my, I guess, customer. Brian is my customer because they hired me for a job, meaning I work for them, meaning they're my customer, right? So if you want to look at it like that, then I guess I don't know, I'm just counting all the money. So it'll be cool to watch that number climb. Right now it's climbing very, very slowly with between the money that I got from the coaching, which was very, very little, and then between the money that I got for Brian and Mina, that's climbing slowly, but it's cool. So anyway, I figured out a way to make a template paste by me clicking a button. So now I don't have to or I don't have to copy this. So usually what I do is I copy something from ChatGPT. Then I go into the Word doc and I'm like, oh shit, I got to copy paste more templates. Otherwise I'm going to have to delete it and it's a pain in the ass. So I have to copy paste that. Then I have to go back to ChatGPT or whatever, copy paste that into the doc and then change it however I need to change it. And then I need to, I have that little shortcut to put the date and time. But I made it in Notion where I click a button and it does all of the above for me automatically. And not to mention, there's really no real limits as to what you can do. So I made a button that also takes me to Podbean to upload my shit. So I click it and it takes me to Podbean immediately. So I bet I could go new episode, upload file. Let's see. Let's see what would happen if I just put in some random shit. Let's put that in there. File size is equal to 0. What does that even mean? File size is equal to 0. Oh, because it's online only. Can I right click? Make available offline. Well, that's kind of a pain. Okay, we'll just use this one. If I copy this and make it into a button, what will happen? Paste form, done. Let's see, if I click the button, it's going to take me to, oh, that's cool. It takes me to the upload button to upload. That's pretty sick. So it takes me directly to the screen that I need to have when I upload a podcast. So that's cool. So I have all these different buttons. I have all these different whatever. And I don't know the length, the character count length for this stuff. I think what I'll do is can I embed? Because you can embed things. So I have Todoist on Notion so I can see my to-do list shits. And I'm going to check right now to see if you can do Google Docs because you can do Google Sheets, which is fucking sick. So if I can embed my transcriptions folder, let's see if I can do that. Let's see if I can put this. Why the fuck can I? All right, I guess we're being a whore. No worries. Option click. Who the hell is that? Chanel wheel. Okay, so we're gonna go embed. Bed. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Wow. So we can do quite a lot with this shit. So that's really cool. So let's go ahead and put this up here. Can paste the transcriptions here. What's up, Mom? Recording a potty. I actually got to take this. Hold on. We're going to pause and be back. All right, and I'm back. Quick little phone call. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty cool. I got the transcriptions there, and we can do it all in one spot, which is really, really cool. I wonder if I can dude, if I can put ChatGPT in here. No way. No way. Oh, let's see. Embed. If ChatGPT can go in here. No, we can't. Okay. Well, too good to be true. All good. Let's get rid of the transcriptions. Okay, done. Okay, well, anyway, so I think what I'm going to do from here on out is use Notion for this shit, because if it's easier for me to use, then hell yeah, I can make things a little bit more organized, put everything in one functional page. I think Google Docs will remain king for writing, but for systems and organization and stuff like that, I think Notion might be where it's at. Not to mention I can, I have my own shit, and then we also have shit for Mina and the team and stuff like that. So anyway, it's pretty cool shit. I also don't think that Mina has listened to or watched anything that I've sent him since yesterday at 2 p.m., which is kind of annoying, but because he called me today and he said, hey man, I'm so sorry I haven't responded, but I wanted to address the 2 questions you asked. What were they? And I asked him, he gave me answers, and that was it. But everything else, nothing. So kind of a bummer, It also seems like the times that I work in the morning, he's just unavailable because I'll send him a message and there's just nothing. There's no response. And it's just like, you want me to work these hours, and I also want to work these hours. But if you're not available, then maybe we should work different hours. I don't know. So anyway, since that Zoom call, I'm going to say this and then peace out. But since that Zoom call got over, I've gotten 2 more requests for different projects to work on. So it's pretty cool. So I'm going to get some more hours in for sure. Maybe I can get even more than 20 for the rest of this month and then bring home a little bit more. I don't know what would be required. Let's see. How many hours would I need to get $1,000? So if I put it at 50, 50. Wow, holy shit. I need to work 49 hours. So I need to work 30 hours in the next 9 days, which is doable. That's very doable. Yeah, it should be doable because I do have quite a few projects going on right now. So, yeah. So, I don't really know what else to say. I think we're done here. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got today. Appreciate you guys listening. That was the Zoom call. I don't think there was I truthfully don't feel like there was anything that was said on the Zoom call that was against the non-disclosure agreement, because all we talked about was just different spreadsheets, and I don't know. I feel like that's fine. It's not like I'm giving all the data away. I'm just saying we're updating a spreadsheet so it can do X, Y, Z. I feel completely confident in that fact. So, and if there is any issue, I'll just take the file that is the podcast. I'll take that part out and I'll re-upload it. So I won't have to take any episodes down. I'll just have to change the parts of the episode. So anyway, pretty cool shit. Learning more and more. And it just keeps on blowing my mind. So anyway, love you guys. Thanks so much for listening to yet another show. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.